The wind clawed through the narrow slit of cell 314, carrying the scent of rust and rain. Elias Ward sat motionless, his hands wrapped around a scrap of faded paper, edges torn, ink dissolved by years of sweat and memory. He whispered to it as if it could still hear. "I never meant to forget you." A single tear cut through the grime on his face. The paper fluttered once, then stilled. Outside, a siren blared, not the kind that meant escape, but the kind that meant the past had found its way back. The letter wasn't written to anyone living. Graythorn Prison didn't sleep. It just blinked slower at night. Elias had been here 12 years, a number too long to measure in calendar squares. He was the inmate who fixed the lights, patched the cracks, and never asked for favors. They said he once had a family, a wife, maybe a child. No records proved it. Just a rumor passed through bars like cigarette smoke. Every night at 2:17 a.m., Elias sat up on his cot, listening to the hum of the lights above. That hum was the only sound that reminded him he was still real. He'd once been a construction engineer, the man who built walls for other people. Now he lived behind the thickest wall of all. His flaw was simple and cruel. He remembered everything except the one thing that mattered. He couldn't recall what landed him here. The court said manslaughter. He said mistake. But the name, the face, the cause, all gone. Like a photo burned at the edges. The guards nicknamed him Blueprint, because he always drew, always traced something invisible on his knee with his thumb. A habit, maybe. A code, maybe not. That night, when the new warden walked through the block, Elias looked up for the first time in months. And something in the warden's voice, the rasp of guilt under authority, made him shiver. 3 days later, Elias was called to the storage basement to repair a leaking pipe. The air there was thick with mildew and ghosts of forgotten cases, boxes of inmate files stacked against damp walls, names fading on yellow paper. As he tightened the valve, something fell a folder, warped by time. His name on the tab. He froze. Inside were pictures blurred, water damaged, a small wooden house, a burned porch, a woman's hand clutching a child's shoe. He couldn't breathe. There was a note clipped inside, written in his own handwriting. "If I ever forget, tell her I tried." The ink was identical to the one on the paper he'd been guarding in his cell, the same handwriting, the same desperation. But who was her? When the guard shouted his name, Elias slid the folder under his coat. The hum in his head grew louder, like the lights above were speaking through him. For the first time in 12 years, he wasn't sure if he was the prisoner or the warden of his own guilt. Back in his cell, Elias unfolded both papers side by side, the letter from his pocket and the note from the folder. They matched perfectly, down to the pressure of the pen. But the signature, it wasn't his. It read, "For E.W. from H.W." He whispered it, H.W. The initials vibrated through him like a key in a lock too long rusted. He started remembering fragments, a child's laughter, the sound of hammering wood, a lullaby cut short by fire. And then silence. The next morning, the warden called him into the office. "Ward," the man said, leaning forward, "you've been here longer than anyone. Ever wonder why you never got parole hearings?" Elias didn't answer. The warden continued, voice low. "There was a witness. Someone asked to keep you inside. Said you'd want it that way." Elias clenched his fists. "Who?" The warden looked down, uneasy. "Your brother." The name struck him like a crowbar to the ribs. He didn't remember a brother. But suddenly, the initials made sense. H.W. Harlan Ward. That night, he drew something on his wall, a small wooden house, half burned, the porch missing 3 steps. His hand trembled with recognition. The forgotten wish was waking. Rain hammered the roof above Kell Block C, drowning the echoes of the past. Elias couldn't sleep. He kept tracing the porch in his mind, the 3 missing steps. Each step was a year. Each year, a layer of truth peeled away. He finally remembered the night of the fire. He hadn't started it. He'd tried to stop it. Harlan had been the one with the temper, the one who'd wanted to build faster, cheaper, riskier. The house had been a joint project, their mother's home, their last gift to her. But the wiring failed, the storm hit, and flames took everything, including her, their mother. Harlan had blamed Elias, said he'd cut corners, saved $1 too many. The court believed him. Elias never defended himself. Maybe he'd believed it too. But the folder told a different story. Blueprints with signatures, Harlan's, not his. The wiring was changed after Elias's arrest. Evidence tampered. The forgotten wish wasn't freedom. It was forgiveness. That night, Elias wrote a letter he couldn't send. Harlan, if this is still your world, I hope it's heavy. I hope the truth kept you company. I don't want out. I just want peace. When dawn came, a guard named Boone found him staring at the paper. Boone had seen men break before, but not like this. Not with a look that said he'd just remembered the price of mercy. The next day, Elias asked for one thing to fix the chapel roof. Boone agreed. As Elias climbed the old wooden ladder, he saw the world beyond the walls, gray sky, open air. Freedom was just 10 steps away. He could run. He could vanish. But something deeper anchored him. The wish wasn't to escape. It was to be remembered for what was true. A week later, the warden approached him quietly during inspection. "Ward," he said, "your brother called. He's dying." Elias froze mid-motion. "He asked for you." In the infirmary outside the main yard, a frail man lay on a narrow cot face half-shadowed by oxygen tubes. Harlan Ward. 12 years of silence condensed into one breath. "Eli," the man rasped, "you still remember?" Elias stared, every muscle locked. "Enough!" Harlan coughed, eyes wet. "I lied. The fire, it was my fault. You took it from me. You always did." A long pause. Then Elias whispered, "I didn't do it for you. I did it for her." Tears fell down Harlan's wrinkled hands. "I know. I wanted to forget, but I couldn't. So I made you do it for me." The heart monitor beeped slower. Harlan exhaled, and just before his final breath, he said, "The letter, it was yours. I just never sent it." Elias looked down at the paper clutched in his hand, the one he thought he'd written. It was addressed to his younger self. Back in his cell, Elias unfolded the letter one last time. "To the man I'll become. If you ever forget, forgive. Not them, not me, but yourself. The world will call you prisoner. Let them. The truth doesn't live in walls. Harlan." For the first time in years, Elias smiled. He pressed the letter against his chest and whispered, "I remember." Rain faded into sunlight. The hum of the lights quieted. Boone walked by and found the cell door open empty, except for the paper pinned to the wall with a nail. The prisoner's forgotten wish was never freedom. It was forgiveness. Weeks later, a new inmate took over cell 314. He complained of sleepless nights, said he could hear faint scratching on the wall. When Boone checked, he found one last drawing carved into the concrete. A house rebuilt, porch whole again. And below it, a single line etched deep. The prisoner's forgotten wish lives where memory forgives. The hum of the lights flickered once, almost like a sigh. Then Graythorn went still.